Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. So as you can tell by the title, in today's video, it's another month that has gone by, which also means that we are entering into the new moon in Sagittarius. So that means that we are getting ready to set up our new moon ritual once again. If you wanted to create your brand new ritual for the new moon, then just stay tuned and let's get started with the video. So if you're brand new to following the moon, then this will be the perfect introduction, sort of like something that will kind of weave you into living in a cyclic way. But basically what we're going to do today is I will walk you through cleansing our crystals. If you are going to be using crystals, we will go through our meditation process and we'll set a brand new intention for the upcoming month. Now, if you're brand new to following the moon, then basically you can also just check out my very first video that I made where I talk a little bit about why it's important to live in a cyclic way. But here's a summary. When you are living in a way that it's not, I don't even want to say that it's not intentional because it's always intentional. But when you're living in a way that it's more reactive versus proactive, the intention and the energy behind it can make you feel like sort of like a paper bag that is being flown around by the wind. So if there's a strong wind, then you go higher, and if the wind kind of dies down, then you sort of fall to the ground. And that's all great and fine, but if you're finding that you're emotionally and mentally feeling a bit more disconnected than you would like to, then you might start searching for a new way of just connecting to something different and something bigger. And the reason why you want to do that is because it strengthens and it allows us to get grounded. It lets us really connect to something deeper, and it creates that space where we can actually truly go within, which means that anything and everything that we're looking to manifest in the next month and in the next year, it's going to have a little bit of oomph, a little bit of stamina behind it, because it's not something that's coming from outside sources, but it's something that is already within us. We are just like everything else in nature, it works in cycles. And now this is contrary to what you might believe, because for most of us, and myself included, I believe that our job is to push and push and push and push and strive and keep pushing and never really take the time to rest and never really take the time to recharge. Recharging and resting was always, in my culture anyway, it was always viewed as a form of weakness. And things like following the moon and creating rituals around the moon, it sort of challenges that belief system, because it says, you know what, we're not going to be doing that. So going back to talking about the moon and the moon cycles, basically we're going to be challenging that belief system that you may have had or you have grown up with, where you felt like the only way for you to feel successful or the only way for you to really create progress and create change is by continuously pushing and never really stopping to rest. Resting and retrieving and really going into solitude was always, you know, looked at, and it was always frowned upon. It was always sort of looked at as a form of weakness. And if that's one of your belief systems, then I'm going to be challenging that today. And I'm not going to be challenging that today because I want to start an argument, but because honestly, there's two forms of belief system, one that's based on fear and one that's based on love. And it's almost that simple. So the moon and the sun and the cycles and the seasons, they all work in a cyclic manner. And the moment that you take the time and learn how to tune into that energy, then you will find that you will learn when to push and when you need rest and when you need to sort of catch your breath, and when you're energetically aligned in order for you to truly manifest what you're really looking for. This is also the time when you can really reflect of how things have gone in the past with your old way of doing things, or really just what you have learned. Even if you have been following the moon cycles for quite a while, your intentions will be changing periodically anyway, because it's going to shift, and as you learn and grow, then you will evolve. So that's sort of why we're here to set the new moon intentions. We are now entering into the last month of the year, so we have almost finished up 2018, which also means that really it's time for us to just go deep within and really tune into our inner wisdom so that we can actually manifest and finish off this year strong and start our year off strong for 2019. Don't worry, we will talk about that a little bit later on in the month, but for now, let's just go back to our current month and our current rituals. So ritual is, it might sound really woo or might sound really out there, or you might really thinking like, oh my gosh, you have gone off the deep end, girl. But honestly, ritual is just sort of like a recipe where basically you create a certain space and you create a certain environment where your mind already recognizes that those are the events that are going to take place, so that it puts you in that vibrational state when you're actually mentally able to receive whatever downloads are actually going to be happening. And while I was not a big fan of creating rituals, I always kind of thought that it was sort of a waste of time, to be honest. I always thought like, that's nice, I don't care about your ritual. To me, it sounds dumb. But I have actually grown to really love and appreciate forms of rituals because it has forced me mentally to tune in and to really just create beautiful boundaries around what are some of the things that I'm doing and what are the things that are completely secondary and they really don't matter. I'll take you into my meditation space. So first we will cleanse our crystals. So you will need a sage stick if you have one. If you're going to be using crystals, then obviously we need to cleanse it from the energy, and you also need to cleanse the space as well. So everything that's negative, everything that is ready to let go of and ready to leave, it can sort of be just blow out the window. So make sure that your windows are open. Make sure that you have a fireproof place where you can place your sage while you're actually burning it. And you will also obviously need a quiet space where you're not going to be interrupted so that you can sit down and meditate. You will need a piece of paper and a pen. If you are using any oracle cards or any affirmation cards or that sort of thing, you can definitely do that as well, because we are going to be setting up our new altar for the month. So you will need just a small little, I usually use a small tray. Don't worry, in the next clip I will show you exactly what you will need and exactly what I generally use so that you have an idea. I will say, disclaimer, I don't want you to go out and buy the crystals, buy the sage, buy the whatever. You can honestly say a quiet prayer and you can cleanse the space. If you have a singing bowl, you can also cleanse the space that way, because sound, it has a vibration, obviously. So if you do have sage, use it. If you do have crystals, use it. Feel free to use them. If you do have oracle cards, perfect, you can use them. But honestly, setting up your altar is going to be so personal because you create it. You are drawn to certain elements. You are drawn to certain things that you are find devotional. So while I'm happy to share with you my own, but this is just sort of a guideline. And this was sort of what I was hoping that you will get out of this, that I will show you my altar, I will show you my meditation, but feel free to adopt it. And I hope that you will adopt it to whatever works for you, because the idea is I will sort of show you the recipe and then you adopt it to whatever flavors you enjoy. So without further ado, let me take you over to my meditation space and let's get set. So first we're going to set up our altar. So you will need obviously a space where you can keep them, and we'll get started with our crystals. So just line all of the tumbled pieces of crystals that you would like to use. And if you're going to be using a selenite wand, then you can bring that as well. Basically, we want to bring all of our crystals to one place so that we can cleanse them. I'm also going to be using a feather. You will also need something fireproof that will capture the ashes. And I have my sage, so we opened up the window and we are ready to cleanse our crystals. So just gently light it up. It can smoke like crazy, so we're really just barely just allow the smoke to just really work here. So now that you have it going, allow the smoke to completely go around your crystals. Again, make sure that your windows are open so the smoke can actually get out of the room. Otherwise, your fire alarm will go off, and we really don't want that. So once you have cleansed all of your crystals, you can actually just pour a little bit of water over your sage stick, and then that way the smoke will subside. After you've cleansed your crystals, you can also go around the room at each corner, and you can actually cleanse the room itself. Here we go. So windows are open. Let's just make sure that it actually lights up properly here. Okay, now we are moving on to, now we're actually setting up our altar. So I am using a small little feather, and I've used a rose quartz piece, a small tumbled selenite piece, a tourmaline, and I am listing here on the screen their healing properties so you can kind of learn a little bit more about it. And last but not least, I added a jet piece as well. And I'm also using these small little, now you can just use obviously a sticky note. So my first little word that I chose is aligned. And the second is fun. I really wanted fun to be representing this moon cycle. And the last one is deeply rooted. And I'm also just getting ready my deck. I'm going to be using the deck from Rebecca Campbell. Okay, so here's a lineup. So I will be using a candle, obviously an oracle deck from Rebecca Campbell. I have like this little bottle of hydrosol that I have made the other day. I will just link the recipe in the description so you can take a look at the video. And then here is our finished altar. I will be adding one more piece to it in a moment just to finish it off. And this month's incense is going to be the rosemary and lavender incense that I decided to use. And for the last little talisman, I'm using this small little owl. So as we get situated in our meditation space, we can just light up our incense. We have our candle going, which really just allows us to put our attention into one space. And the scent just creates like this divine smell in the room. It really just makes the entire environment divine. And then it's time to put in I usually like to use this Kirtan Kriya meditation music, and it's based on mantras, which is beautiful. It just really helps focus the mind. And time to get grounded. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. If you need your selenite wand, feel free to use it just to help you feel more grounded in the space. Think about any images that come to you. Try to visualize anything that you're trying to manifest for this next moon cycle. What is your heart truly calling you to bring forth? What are you ready to step into? Make sure that you see it and feel it viscerally. How does it make you feel? With palms up, you can allow the energy to flow in Feel free to use your hydrosol, because you will not only get the benefits of the essential oils that you blended in, but it also just hydrates and brings more hydration into the air. And you can also use your roll-ons just to amplify the effects and just really help you feel grounded. You can also do this before you sit down to meditate. Deep breath. With palms down, you're really rooting down, you're really getting grounded in the space. So once you have finished your meditation, you can grab your oracle deck, just break it into 3 after you finish shuffling it, and we're going to pick a few cards just to bring some awareness here for the next cycle. I chose to pick 5, but you can pick 3, you can just pick one single one. It's completely up to you. That's the beautiful part about these rituals, is that you can customize it to whatever works for you, really. And you can also use this in your journaling process once you are finished with your meditation. So here the card that I picked is Mirror, Protection, Trust Your Path, Lemuria, and Boundaries. Thank you so much for taking the time to joining me in today's new moon ritual. I hope that you enjoyed it and you feel grounded and excited for this new moon season in Sagittarius. And question of the day, what is your current new moon ritual? I would love to hear it down in the comments. And every single product that I have used today, I will leave it down in the description box so that you can take a look. I will also link my previous video for the previous new moon, as well as the full moon release that I have created not long ago. So you can also check those out as well. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing, and you can also hit the little bell for the notifications so that you don't miss another video. Now, because I usually post here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and then once on the weekend, this may change now that we're moving closer and closer into the holiday season, but I will keep you posted on that if anything changes. But because I usually post at least 3 times a week, what I have found, and we usually go into topics like green beauty, spiritual practices such as this one, some mindfulness practices, eco living, how to reduce your consumption and your waste, how you can actually manage your stress and anxiety in a more holistic way. Ultimately, I'm here to provide you with all the tools that have helped me in managing my own anxiety so that you feel you can live a more intentional life. So because we go into a few different topics throughout the week, you might be wondering what the upcoming schedule is and when I'm going to be releasing certain videos. So what I have come up with to help you out is I usually send out a weekly email recap that shows some of the best takeaways from each of the videos that I release throughout the week, as well as I include the schedule for the upcoming week. This is sort of the place where I'm also going to be showing any bloopers, any of the trailers that I create for these videos. And this is also where you find any exclusive offers or behind the scene footage if there are any. So if you wanted to get on that list, it's completely free and complimentary. I left the link down in the description so you can sign up. Email will be going out to you on Sundays. And thank you once again for watching and sticking with me, and I will see you again on the weekend with another video. Bye.
Listen, so I have to ask, what is with the Viking music at this point? I thought that we were past that. I thought we were cool and hip and we're on point. Side note, by the way, if you're wondering, this is your inner subconscious spirit self speaking to you. Your eyeshadow, girl, your eyeshadow is on point today. It looks like a moonstone. Anyways, keep going. Okay, listen, so you grab that tray. You're probably just going to grab it from the kitchen. Who knows? Okay, first stone down, second stone down. I feel like we're basically setting up your BB gun at this point. Maybe we are. Oh, and the wand. Do not ask me about the wand. It's basically to protect you, kind of. You can use it as a weapon. Let's just leave it at that. Oh, and then the whole feather thing. Maybe you can ask about that. But honestly, you can just kind of waft something. We don't know. Wait, we need upper body strength here. Upper body strength. Come on, people. We need to work those pecs. Finally, it's open. Okay. And here we go. I feel like we're in a Nelly song right now. Just when the roof is on fire, it's getting hot in here. You already know. We're setting this on fire. Make sure there's not, do not burn the house down, people. Do not burn the house down. And we're just going to spritzity spritz spritz. It's sort of like, does that count as an actual shower? Maybe it does. Ooh, wouldn't that be great? Can you actually use that on your kids? Oh, that would save so much time. Okay, and then we're gonna use the roll-on. Don't ask me why. I really have no explanation. Maybe it smells nice. Maybe it's another cleansing agent. Yeah, let's hope for that. Okay, bye!